Hello everyone, I Tanya, Assistant Professor of RIMT University, welcome you all in the online tutorial lecture on the topic which is very imperative part of accounting, that is ratio analysis. As we have been drawing financial statements since long, such as profit and loss account, balance sheets, but do you think these statements serve any purpose until and unless they are analyzed properly? No. Now, what is the meaning of analysis? Analysis means to draw conclusions from the statements which are prepared. To draw conclusions means to draw inferences from the statements. To diagnose the complete information which is contained in the financial statements. So, there are so many tools of financial statement analysis such as comparative statements, common size statements, trend analysis, and apart from these, one of the most important and powerful tool is ratio analysis. Now coming over to the meaning, it is the process of establishing and interpreting various ratios. What is ratio? Ratio is an expression of the quantitative relationship between the two numbers. Between the two numbers such as 5 lakh divided by 2,50,000. What does this mean? Say it's the relationship between current assets and current liabilities. Say it's the relationship between fixed assets and non-current liabilities. Say it's the relationship between debt and equity. So it can be the relationship between any of the numbers. It is with the help of ratios that the financial statements can be analyzed more clearly and right decisions can be made. Why so? Because it is basically a mathematical relationship between the numbers. Now coming over to the uses of ratio analysis. So ratio analysis doesn't serve the purpose of one person, but rather it helps so many persons such as managers, employees, shareholders or investors, creditors, government or taxation authorities. So managers, why do managers need ratio analysis? For planning, forecasting, for controlling. Controlling means to compare our statements, our ratios with the standards which are set and to find out the deviations so that corrective actions can be taken on time. Now, why do shareholders need ratios? Why they want to see the analysis of the ratios of a company? Because they are the ones who have invested their capital. So, they want returns. And creditors, because they are the ones who have lent your company in the form of loans. So obviously they want security. Next comes the employees. Employees expect bonus from your company. Then government and taxation authorities. Government, because government has to frame the policies, so government need to check the financial position of your company. Then taxation authorities, as they have to levy the taxes, so they are interested in profitability ratios, turnover ratios, as various rebates and exemptions are to be availed by the companies. So now let's start with the kinds of ratios. First comes the liquidity ratios. Liquidity ratios are the ratios which help the companies in knowing about their short term solvency position. So the first liquidity ratio is current ratio. It is the relationship between current assets and current liabilities, such as, let us assume current assets as with any of the figure. So if we divide current asset with the current liabilities, whatever will be the ratio, will compare that with the rule of thumb. So the rule of thumb for current ratio is 2:1, which means that our current assets must be double than that of our current liabilities. Next comes the quick or asset test or liquid ratio. It is the relationship between quick assets and current liabilities, and quick assets is equal to current assets minus inventories plus prepaid expenses. And the rule of thumb for this ratio is 1:1. Next comes the absolute liquid ratio. This ratio includes cash in hand, at bank and marketable securities, and absolute liquid ratio is equal to absolute liquid assets divided by current liabilities, and the rule of thumb is 1:2. Next comes the current assets movement or efficiency or turnover ratios. And the types are stock turnover ratio, debtors turnover ratio, creditors turnover ratio, and working capital turnover ratios. These turnover ratios basically tells us that how efficiently the company is working. So, starting with the first ratio, stock turnover ratio, it is calculated as the sales or the cost of goods sold divided by average inventory. So, this ratio indicates that how efficiently the firm is utilizing its stock, because there should be neither understock nor overstock. So, how efficiently the inventory is being utilized is depicted by the stock turnover ratio. So, the formula is cost of goods sold divided by average inventory. So, let us understand it with a question. The cost of goods sold of a company is 5 lakh, let us suppose, and the opening inventory is 40,000 and the closing inventory is 60,000. Now, we have to find out the inventory turnover ratio. So, what would be the way? Cost of goods sold, that is 5 lakh, when divided by the average inventory, means opening plus closing divided by 2, it is 10 times. So, we must remember that turnover ratios are always in times. So, next comes the inventory conversion period. It is a part of inventory turnover ratio. So, it is the average time taken for clearing the stock, that is days in a year divided by inventory turnover ratio. Average time taken means how much time a company takes to clear its stock. Clear its stock means how much time a company takes to convert its stock into finished goods and then hence sale of those goods. Next comes the debtors or receivable turnover ratio. This ratio indicates the velocity of debt collection of a firm. It indicates the number of times average debtors are turned over in a year, means how quickly your firm is able to receive the money from the debtors, and the formula is net credit sales divided by average debtors. So, let us understand it with an example. Let us suppose credit sale is 25,000, returns are 1,000. So, how we will get net sales? When returns are deducted from the credit sales. So, when net sales are divided by debtors, we get this ratio. So, higher the value of debtors turnover, more efficient is the management of it. So, how we will analyze this ratio? So, more the ratio is, better it is, because this will mean that our debtors management is very good in a company. Next comes the average collection period. It represents the number of days for which the firm has to wait for receiving money from its debtors. So, this basically measures the quality of debtors. Next comes the creditors turnover ratio. This ratio indicates the velocity with which creditors are turned over in relation to purchases. So, how our creditors will arise? By credit purchases. So, how quickly the company is paying back to the creditors is what depicted by our creditors turnover ratio. And the formula is net credit purchases divided by average creditors. And the next related with this ratio is average payment period, which means the number of days taken by the firm to pay off its creditors. So, lower the ratio, better it is. Next comes our working capital turnover ratio. It indicates the velocity of the utilization of net working capital, that with how much efficiency the working capital is being utilized by the firm. So, these were the ratios which helps in short term analysis. Next comes the long term analysis, which helps in the analysis of long term financial position of a firm. So, the first is debt equity ratio. This ratio is the relationship between the outsiders funds and shareholders funds, which means that debt and equity. Next comes our proprietary ratio or equity ratio. This ratio indicates the relationship between shareholders funds and total assets of a firm, that how much shareholders funds are included in total assets of a firm. For example, the total assets are 6 lakh and shareholders funds are 4 lakh. So, ratio would be 66.4. 6%. Next comes the ratio of total liabilities to total assets. This ratio indicates the relationship between total liabilities of a company and total assets. Means how much amount the company has to owe to the outsiders and how much are the total assets. So how we'll analyze it? Lower the ratio, better it is. Lower the ratio will mean that the amount which company has to pay to the outsiders is less. So it is obviously a very good point for the firm. Next, the last ratio, debt service ratio or interest coverage ratio. This ratio is used to test the debt servicing capacity of a firm. This basically means that how much profit company is having to bear off its fixed interest charges, whether company is having sufficient profit to pay off the fixed interest. So this would be depicted by this ratio. This ratio indicates the number of times interest is covered by the profits to pay off. So higher the ratio, better it is. Now every coin has two sides, right? So ratio analysis is of great advantage to so many of the users, to the company, but still it has limitations as well, like limited use of a single ratio. If you have a single ratio, no comparison is possible. So analysis can be done in a better way if we have something to compare with, that is if we have so many ratios calculated. So single ratio will not serve any purpose. Next comes the change of accounting procedures. Now accounting procedures means the procedures one adopted must be applied consistently over the years. For example, depreciation methods, stock valuation methods, LIFO and FIFO. If these methods are changed, these would impact our statements and hence ratios. So method must be uniform. Next is the window dressing. Window dressing means to show the position of a company which is not actually. So this window dressing means to show the favorable position of a company, but actually it's not. So this will impact our financial statements. So we can say that ratio analysis suffers from the limitations because of the limitations present in financial statements. Because ratios are prepared from financial statements like current assets. How will take the current assets? Because it's a part of balance sheet. So if our balance sheet is incorrect, it's suffering from the problem of window dressing, then this would impact the ratios and hence analysis. Then clues, not conclusions, means ratios are not everything. Managers must not completely rely upon the ratios, they are just clues. It just provide a clue to the manager that where they should move on. Means the expert advice is very important. So this was all about our today's topic, that is ratio analysis. So I hope you all might have understood. Thank you.